Sean Haney here with RealAgriculture.com, and I'm joined today by the Executive Director of CAFTA, Claire Cito. How are you doing today, Claire?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing very, very well. Claire, you are down in Atlanta, Georgia, at the TPP negotiations. Okay, so this seems to be a topic of, I guess, somewhat controversy, and you sent out a press release over the weekend, sort of a short discussion paper, sort of talking about TPP and what it potentially represents for farmers. I guess off the top, what is sort of, I'm having a hard time understanding is I'm getting press releases saying this is great, and I'm getting press releases from a couple organizations saying this is the end of agriculture. Where does this all kind of line out through your lens at CAFTA?
I think through our lens, so the Canadian Agri-Food Alliance represents members who depend on trade, and that's 90% of farmers across the nation. So we represent producers, farmers, exporters that depend on trade from the beef, pork, oilseeds, canola, wheat, sugar sectors. So a wide variety of products that do depend on trade. And Trans-Pacific Partnership right now is for us the biggest deal on the planet. And there is a lot at stake if we're not in the TPP agreement. 65% of our exports go to that particular region, and it's a region that includes some of our major customers, but as well some of our major competitors, namely the U.S. and Australia. Japan is the big jewel, the crown jewel for us, the big prize in the TPP. Our third export market, 10% of our exports go to that region. And it's a premium market, a high-value market for a lot of our products. So the TPP is very critical for us at this point. We cannot let our competitors get ahead of us.
Is it possible to negotiate a free trade agreement like TPP and have everybody be happy?
That's that's the role of the government to negotiate. So I think that question is best asked of them. But in principle, negotiation is negotiation. Our position is to promote and defend the interests of those who depend on trade. If you look at the broad picture, Canada was a nation built on trade, and Canada has one of the most trade-dependent agriculture sector in the world. We export over half of everything we produce. 65% again of what we produce, what we export, go to that region. Export opportunities not only help us grow, help us diversify, help us get the best value for some of our products. And if you look at the last 10 years, our exports have grown by over 77%, boosting farm cash receipt by close to 45% over the same time period. And we've been able to do this because we're globally competitive. And it's to maintain our global competitiveness that we need the TPP.
So in the paper that you sent me, you say that we export over half of the agri-food products that we grow. Clearly, with a low Canadian dollar, like we have in this environment right now, exports are more important than ever. 90% of agriculture in Canada is export dependent. Clearly, though, the 10%, I assume you're talking about the poultry and dairy industry. So is this really about exporters versus the milk industry?
I don't believe so. Frankly, the position of the Canadian Agri-Food Trade Alliance is that on those sectors is we don't have a position on those sectors, and we don't represent those farmers. Therefore, we don't even talk about it. And our interests are in Japan. And if you look at Japan's interests in the TPP, one might wonder where they are, but it's not a one sector against another, and there's more than one sector that's involved in that has a strong interest in the TPP. Here, there's plenty of different sectors that have interests, offensive and defensive interests in the TPP. So it's certainly not one ag sector versus another ag sector at all. And when we don't have access to what the negotiators are talking in terms of the entire agriculture picture and the entire negotiation. We don't have access to any of the details, and we can't say there's one sector versus another. It's absolutely not that. No.
So we've got negotiators in the room. As you said yourself with CAFTA, you're not in those negotiations. So can you sort of explain to the audience what's exactly going on? There's people behind closed doors, and there's a group of people in the hotel lobby. What is exactly happening?
So, well, it's difficult to really know exactly in detail, but the sense we get is that chief negotiators and lead negotiators are preparing for ministers to meet. So I think they are meeting not only in plenary sessions, but as well have bilateral meetings with various countries that they still have outstanding issues with, and trying to press to close on some of these issues that are remaining in advance for the ministerial meeting, so that when ministers do meet, they're left with the most sensitive things to address.
So, in your opinion at CAFTA, if Canada is unable to close this deal and be a part of the TPP, what is the outcome for Canadian agriculture?
The impact of that would be devastating. It would have very negative impact across Canada's agriculture sector and ripple effects across the entire economy. If you look at what we export for some of the sectors, so for wheat growers, not being part of the agreement would put the current exports of 2 million tons of premium exports to Japan at risk. For the canola sector, there would be significant exports at risk as well. The pork sector, just being left outside of the agreement, would place at risk 1 billion worth of current exports to Japan, and we'd see also very rapid decline of up to 40% in the volume of pork exported to that market. The exports of grains and oilseeds, pulses, and special crops to Japan, Malaysia, and Singapore that are valued at 2.3 would be at risk, and all the jobs that they create would be at risk as well if Canada was not in a TPP agreement. Not only if Canada was not in the TPP agreement, but if Canada could not reach a plurilateral TPP agreement, and that means the level playing field, equal access, than our competitors.
So, Claire, some of the critics of TPP and some of these negotiations that have happened in the past and are happening this week in Atlanta, some of those critics say that there's not enough transparency, that the Canadian public or some of the industries that have an issue with this negotiation don't feel that the details are really accessible or available for people to really know what's being negotiated or what's at stake. From your vantage point, how do you respond to that?
CAFTA has been attending, at least for the past year, absolutely every single round, and we're in very close contact with the negotiators to provide information and inform the position. So it's their, I think that question, again, is best asked to the government, but our view is that we've been in contact and we don't have access to details, but have very good communication with negotiators and are able to inform positions.
Okay, Claire, well, thank you very much for joining us today. Enjoy your time in Atlanta.
Okay, thanks.